The Fallout 4 quest Reunions is a real turning point in the game. It marks the end of Act 1, ushering in the arrival of the Brotherhood of Steel and setting you on your path to finding the Institute. But it's also the quest where Kellogg dies. His death is important for the story as it sets up the next quest, Dangerous Minds, but it also sucks because of this.
But I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end.
Your interaction with Kellogg can only end one way. No matter what you do up to that point, you will always reach this conclusion. And if you need proof of that, here are the 4 dialogue branches you can go down with him. I made sure to go down each one and just watch how they all line up at the end.
But I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end. So, you ready?
If this was just some random raider we'd met a mission ago, then fine, who cares? But it's not. It's Kellogg, the cyborg merc who has sided with the Institute after travelling the breadth of America. The man who murdered our spouse, stole our child, and who then admires us when we track him down to kill him. Bethesda made a multi-dimensional, intriguing character, and then had us wipe them out. To this I say, no. Kellogg should have a chance to live, and that's exactly what I'm going to change with this rewrite. The start of Reunions is fine. Having Dogmeat track down Kellogg to Fort Häagen-Dazs is all good by me, and I don't even have a problem with fighting your way through the fort. In fact, I really like how Kellogg talks to you as you make your way closer and closer to him. He starts off sounding a little hostile.
Sorry your house has been a wreck for 200 years, but I don't need a roommate. Leave.
But then seems to respect your decision to keep going.
You got guts and determination. It's admirable. But you are in over your head in ways you can't possibly comprehend.
Before finally accepting that the confrontation was inevitable, and even unlocking the final door so you can reach him.
Okay, you made it. I'm just up ahead. My synths are standing down. Let's talk.
Once the confrontation does occur, then we start making changes. In total, I believe this encounter should have 3 outcomes. The first is the standard one already in the game. Kill Kellogg, tear out his cybernetics, and return to Piper and Nick in order to discuss what to do next, settling on heading to the memory den. Second would be sparing Kellogg, convincing him not to fight and have him escape. And the third would be to convince Kellogg not to fight you, but instead to turn against the Institute, seeing him execute his 2 synth bodyguards and work with you to infiltrate the Institute and destroy it. This third option is the one I enjoy the most, but it's also the most complex one, so we should probably talk about the second one first, if that makes sense. So you enter the room to talk with Kellogg, and he says,
And there she is, the most resilient woman in the Commonwealth. So, here we are. Funny, huh?
To which you reply with, here we are. Only question now is, do you give me my son and get to walk out of here alive, or do I get to avenge my partner? With this line, I would want it to be a check. Fallout 4 has charisma-based speech checks, so it could just be one of those. But ideally, I'd like it to be a level check. If you're below level 15, then Kellogg doesn't back down. He's fought tougher than you in the past, and will say so, then initiating combat, returning to the standard game's path. However, if you're level 15 or above, Kellogg can tell that you've grown strong while fighting your way towards him, and he'll say something like, it might be a mercy to kill you now and save you any more pain, but it looks like you may just be tough enough to handle it. Your son is a part of the Institute now, but that's not just somewhere you can walk into. I also realise these voices are terrible. I'm British, I apologise. The player character then asks how to get inside, and Kellogg will tell you that he doesn't have a way in, but there's someone who might. Virgil. He'll tell you where he is, and then we'll leave, walking out of a room and planning on leaving the Commonwealth behind. At this point, I'd also like to give the player the option of shooting Kellogg in the back, initiating combat and unlocking Dangerous Minds as an optional quest to do before finding Virgil. Combat would also mean you could still get Kellogg's outfit and pistol, items he would leave with otherwise, and which would be unobtainable after. If you go down the pacifist route of convincing him not to fight, then you do get to skip over what could be a tricky boss battle, but you miss out on some rewards and bypass an interesting quest where you would learn more about the man. The third option, on the other hand, that's the one which really changes things up. So it all starts out the same way.
And there she is, the most resilient woman in the Commonwealth. So, here we are. Funny, huh?
But this time you reply, I know why I'm here, but do you? Looks like the Institute left you out to rot, along with a bunch of scraphead simps. This would be a charisma check. Fail and Kellogg would dismiss you, saying, they may not be top of the shelf, but I sure am. Now, have we got anything left to talk about, or is it time to end this? But if you pass the check, he'd be a little more agreeable, responding along the lines of, guess the Institute doesn't value me as so high of an asset these days. After this line, you will then open up the dialogue option, sounds like you're not the Institute mascot I thought you were, to which Kellogg will show a brief amount of disgust before responding, they were the big player in the Commonwealth when I showed up, but I have a feeling that's about to change. I really am bad at the voices, I apologise, these aren't even consistent. So at this point, another level check option would open up. You can tell Kellogg that you're going to destroy the Institute. They took away your family, so you'll take away everything they hold dear. You tell him that it's either with them or against them. If this ultimatum fails, he'll show sympathy towards you, saying, I understand your pain, and I admire the path you've chosen to follow, but it's not one that ends well. I've walked it before, and look where it's got me. He clearly doesn't think you're strong enough to take on the Institute, and the conversation goes back to only the first two options becoming possible. If you are level 25 or higher though, then he thinks you might just be tough enough to take on the Institute. So you're the one who's going to take down the bogeyman of the Commonwealth, huh? If it was anyone else standing here, I'd have just laughed at them. But you might just go through with it. Seems that we could help each other out. He'll then draw his gun and execute the two synth bodyguards standing with him, which not only would be a cool animation to watch, but I think would be funny for anyone choosing this option for the first time, as they may think combat is initiated and then accidentally start combat themselves. Providing that doesn't happen though, Kellogg then once again reveals this information about Virgil, also dropping the bomb that the Institute uses teleportation in order to transport people in and out. You would head outside with him, the Brotherhood will then fly by, and he could say something like, there's your ticket. A suit of power armor is just what you need to reach Virgil, and those guys should have plenty. Kellogg's recommendation out of the way, he would then leave for the time being, saying that you'll be better off confronting Virgil if he's not there with you. The quest, the Glowing Sea, would then happen as usual, leading you to Hunter/Hunted, which would then play out slightly differently. Once you make your way to the very top of Green Tech Genetics, instead of finding the Corsair interrogating the few surviving gunners, you'll find him locked in battle with Kellogg. After defeating the Corsair, Kellogg will then reveal this is what he's been doing, and once again leave, not returning again until the very end of the game. Fallout 4 has 4 distinct endings. You can side with the Institute, Minutemen, Brotherhood, or Railroad. Side with the Institute and you never hear from Kellogg again. It seems he's just flat out disappeared. Side with the Railroad and he'll send you a message through your Pip-Boy. The message will read something like this. Seems I was right about you. I'd congratulate you in person, but I don't think your friends and I would get along. Can't say I'm happy how you went about doing it, but I guess you got your vengeance. Hope it feels better for you than it ever did for me. Kellogg. If, however, you finish the game by siding with the Minutemen or the Brotherhood, you will instead be sent a set of coordinates which starts up a new side mission. A map marker would appear, and the mission would tell you to investigate. Go to the location and you find Kellogg. He congratulates you on blowing up the Institute, but tells you the job isn't done quite yet. He'll then lead you through the location, which is filled with hostile synths, fighting alongside you until the place is clear. He will explain that there are a few more Institute outposts like this one, and will then become your companion. That's right, Kellogg as a companion. But that's not all. No. I've spent far too long thinking about this, and I've got a much better ending. With Kellogg as your companion, he would have his own likes and dislikes, just like the others, but there would be a couple of noteworthy parts about him. First up, no romance option. This is still the guy that shot your spouse, and necking on with him just wouldn't be right. Second, you wouldn't be able to take his outfit or weapon out of his inventory like you can with a lot of the other companions. No, if you want them, you'll need to up your relationship with him and complete his questline. Get a high enough positive ranking and he'll start sending you to the remaining Institute outposts, helping you to mop up what's left of them. Once you reach maximum reputation with him, he will tell you that there's one last member of the Institute to be dealt with. He'll then depart, saying that he needs some time to prepare for this job, and you then lose him as a companion. Wait a day and he'll send you a message, telling you to meet him at Vault 111. Arrive and he will be in front of a cryo chamber where your spouse lies, looking remorseful. Go up to him and he tells you that he never got the chance to bury his wife and daughter. A scene will then play out above ground, where Kellogg uses a shovel to dig a grave for your dead husband or wife, and the two of you bury them, overlooking Sanctuary. Kellogg apologises to your dead partner for what he did, plants the shovel as a marker for the grave, hands you his gun, and kneels down with his back to you. He looks out towards the Commonwealth and utters 2 words. I'm ready. With Kellogg's own gun in your hand, the one used to murder the person you loved, you then have a choice. Kill Kellogg and avenge your family, or point the gun away, sparing him and making the ultimate act of forgiveness. I don't see either choice as being right or wrong, and I'd want the mission to be successful whichever you choose. Kill Kellogg and you can loot his items, spare him and you keep him as a companion. I'd also ideally like to tie a pair of perks to this decision. Kill Kellogg and earn yourself the No Sin Left Unpunished perk, granting an extra 10% damage with everything. Spare him and receive the Road to Forgiveness perk, reducing all damage taken by 10%. These are both pretty strong bonuses, but they would only be available post-endgame, so I think they're fitting rewards for players who go beyond a standard playthrough. I also think that this is a far more fitting end for Kellogg. This is a man who is over 100 years old in Fallout 4. He was a child in the NCR, got married in the hub, became an enforcer for the She, avenged the murder of his wife and daughter, travelled all the way to the Commonwealth, and then spent the second half of his prolonged life as the main above-ground operative for the Institute. This is the longest live and unmutated human who's still walking around in her own skin. This is a character who could have so many interesting insights into what is happening in the Commonwealth, and I think he deserves more than what Bethesda gave him. And all it took was rewriting one quest, and altering a couple of others, and adding in a series of quests post-game, and changing him to an optional companion. Alright, so maybe this was more than just rewriting reunions, but I think it was worth it. If you agree, then do leave a like, and make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on. I want to make more videos like this, rewriting quests of my favourite games, and seeing what other paths could have walked. Videos like these do take a long time to make, so a huge thank you to all my patrons who keep the channel running. And, as always, thanks to you for watching. Sarge out.